Welcome everyone to the Culture and Coaching Basketball Series. We're really fortunate to have our first two speakers, Leonard Hamilton and John Sparks. But I'm going to go through just some thank yous to the NABC. I would encourage all of you to look into becoming a member of the NABC Championship Productions for letting us use their platform. The NJCA Men's Basketball Coach Association. If you're not a member, there's a second window later in the season to become a member. And just thanks to them. I'm the executive director. John Sparks is going to be joining us on our committee soon. Tim Sanquist, Cord Wright, John Bowler. But just a really Coach Norman. And then I'd like to thank Dr. Dish for being involved in the past for the All-Star game in Las Vegas. Our first speaker, our first presenter, our first person ever to speak at the Culture and Coaching Basketball Series is Leonard Hamilton. He does have a history in two-year college basketball, Gaston Community College, then went to University of Tennessee Martin, where I think he was in school with Pat Summitt. Then he went on into his coaching career. He was a really good player. Went into his coaching career at Austin Peay, who did an unbelievable job there. He's got some great stories about Austin Peay. Then went to Kentucky. Then as the associate head coach, then became the head coach at Oklahoma State in 1986 to 90. Then went to Florida or to Miami in 1990 to 2000. Did an unbelievable job there, turning that program around, especially winning on the road. And I think that builds right into the culture in coaching that we're going to talk about. Went to the NBA with the Wizards and then became the head coach at Florida State, 2002 to 25. 12 times went to the NCAA tournament. I think the year of COVID, when COVID hit us, that team was destined to win the national championship. I know I'm biased just because of my relationship with Coach, but I think that team was unbelievably stacked and prepared to win the national championship. 10 times the NIT, 406 and 296 and 62% winning percentage at Florida State. Coach Hamilton, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you very much. When you introduce me, though, please tell everybody I still hold the scoring record. 54 points a game in North Carolina Junior College. I want to say that for Coach Sparks. See that smile on his face.
Well, I would also say that what Coach did to resurrect that program too at Gaston is greatly appreciated. So, Coach, I'll turn it over to you. I was just going to ask you a couple questions before you turn it over to your presentation. Is this, how did you get your team? And I was there, I witnessed it at the beginning, but when you got it rolling, you had 12 to 15, and you actually had like 22 players on your team. But when guys would come out of the game, they would say, Coach, or they'd be on the bench, they would say, Coach, don't put me back in because Tom McDonald's doing an unbelievable job. I mean, you had that kind of communication, trust, teamwork, culture. How'd you get that to happen?
Well, there's no doubt that building a culture is one of the most important things to having a good basketball team. And that's maybe a whole nother conversation, but the level of communication is the most important thing when you're dealing with young people. How your body language, your facial expression, your tone of voice, all has a bearing on whether or not they accept your coaching and whether or not they respond. If you are talking to players and your tone of voice or body language or facial expression doesn't necessarily allow them the comfort of responding. In other words, some kids got different personalities. So you have to find out how you communicate with your team to make sure they're absorbing it and responding, or else you just talking. There's been proven that even when a child is crying because he's wet or because he's hungry, the amount of time that the mother takes to respond to that child crying has a lot to do with the ability for that child to start having confidence in his mother. It goes back that far. So communication with young people is so important. Being able to develop the ability to communicate, I think, helps with your culture. But I also think that, you have to find a way to create an atmosphere where everybody is held accountable for any and everything, academically, socially, in the weight room, on campus, how they conduct themselves on and off the court, and how well they perform, how much effort they put on the court, all works together. And so you have to have a way of understanding that. I mean, they got to work to their ability. In other words, you got to develop a culture where everybody feels that they take pride in not taking a possession off. And how you craft your offense and your defense has a lot to do with them playing hard. In other words, I have kids asking themselves to come out of the game because they're not taking any possessions off. And when you're in a program like I've been in, where I've taken over programs that were not very successful with no culture, and so that has been part of what little bit of success we've had because we've been able to do that. I want to start off talking about some defense, and but culture has a lot to do with that. How you craft your defense, and I think your offense, if I'm able to get to it and have enough time, that my offense complements my defense. In other words, I'm gonna play as hard as I have to play as hard as I can on defense, but I also want to move the ball and move our bodies enough on offense where we still have that same quick, hard playing philosophy. For instance, we've led the nation in field goal percentage defense 3 times, and we've been top 20, top 10, some other times. And I'm going to give you these statistics. One year we held our opponents to 37.9 for the entire year. Another year we was 37.7 for the entire year. And one year we were 36.3. I'm using those statistics, and I want to let you know how we got to that point. Now, it's very difficult. This wasn't a one-game deal. This is for the entire year. 37.9, 38, 37.7, and 36.3. And obviously, it's hard not to have a pretty good season and a pretty good team when you're holding your opponents 37 and 36% for the entire year. Now, you say, well, how do you do that? Well, I have 9 things that I grade. Now, it has changed a little bit over the years. And a person has to complement his defensive philosophy with the things he holds them accountable for. I have 9 different defensive fundamentals that if we are 70% accurate on executing those defensive fundamentals, then we've won about 90% of our games over the last 30 years. I didn't say 100%. Now, you always want to be efficient. There's no doubt about that. And we don't do in the video that I'm going to use today is you're going to see that sometimes our feet are not properly placed, our head is not properly placed where we can see the man and the ball, and we're not perfect. You develop those instincts because it's all read and react, and you have to make quick decisions, and you have to teach it by repetition, doing the same thing over and over. So these kids become accustomed to making decisions defensively. Now,
hey, Coach.
Yes.
If anybody has any questions ever, just put it in the chat. Or if you want to text me, I can ask Coach the questions. My cell phone number is 515-460-8080. 515-460-8080 if you have any questions, and I'll ask Coach while the presentation's going on. Go ahead, Coach.
Now, everything I know, I kind of learn from somebody else and use my instinct. So I'm trying to just give you a template to operate, and you put the things that you believe in the fundamentals. So it would help you have some things where you can hold the kids accountable for. In other words, I just don't want to say guarding, and I think we all have principles, but I'm just going to share the 9 that I've done that has helped me be successful. Number 1 is closeouts. Okay, closeouts to me is very, very important. We close out, take away vision with both hands up 1001. Now what that does, you got to have distance. You want to close out with the right distance. You don't want to be too close where he can go around you. You don't want back too far where you give him a 3. But you really want to take away vision on the catch because we're going to front the post. And a guy might get caught on the top side, and you also need to give the weak side help to get on the lane line or the midline. If the ball's above the free throw line, we on the lane line on the weak side. If the ball's free throw line and below, we on the midline. And him closing out with both hands up gives the weak side help guy time to get to those positions, seeing the man and the ball. Help side, help side is the next one. And the help side defense that I spoke about with the lane line and the weak line, a lot depends on the guy's closeout, because you don't want to give up that skip. You want him to make either a lob pass that's got a lot of air on it, or you want him to make a slow bounce pass. So closing out with your hands up and then mirroring the ball after 1001 is one of the fundamentals. Containing the dribble, contesting shots, challenging the passes. This is something that we've added over the years that has really made a huge difference. That it's a subtle difference that it really makes. In other words, if you're trying to pass the ball to the right and my left hand goes up just in the direction where you're passing the ball, subconsciously you're going to pass the ball a foot and a half, maybe farther from my hand, by me just put my hand in the direction where you're passing. Your peripheral vision is going to allow me to get the ball a little far away from my hand. And I'm not moving, I'm not jumping, I'm not getting myself out of position, but I'm just making you throw the ball. And then we on the line, up the line, denying the ball to the wings. So now that guy has to step a little farther to catch the ball. So suddenly, they catching the ball about 3 feet farther out on the perimeter from the basket than they normally would if my hands were down and I wasn't challenging the pass and I wasn't on the line. Then there's contest, contain, like I said, challenging the passes, fronting the post, blockouts, shrinking the gaps, and sinking field. Now we do deny the wings, but that's just part of what we do. It probably needs to be another fundamental that we grade. Now, along the way, if we are 70% efficient on these fundamentals, we won 90% of our games. If we get 35 deflections a game, you win about 94, 95% of your games by getting those deflections and active with your hands. These are the things that have worked well for me. Number one, the 9 things we grade, and the 35 deflections we hang our hat on. I said earlier, we complement our offense with our defense. If I make 225 passes a game, we win a high percentage of our games. I don't want the ball to stick. I want you to make, on the offensive end, make decisions in 0.5 seconds. You either shooting, passing, or dribbling. I don't like kids taking 5, 6, 7, 8 dribbles, standing in one place, make a decision, move the ball, and when you pass the ball, I want you cutting. So that complements, my offense complements my defense. I give, offensively, I want those kids, they have 4 seconds to get to that checkpoint, the corners in the front of the rim. If you don't get a rebound, you got 4 seconds to get to your checkpoint. In other words, you don't stand around looking, but 1 through 4, whoever gets the rebound, they the point guard in that possession. My post guy, if he gets the rebound, then he's the trailer, and he's sprinting to a ball screen or a ball reversal. If it's the five, anybody gets a rebound, the center has 4.4 seconds to get to the front of the rim. So it's consistent with the fundamentals I'm looking for on my defensive end, and it complements each other. Now, if anybody has any questions right now before I go to the edit film, I'll take them right now while I'm setting things up.
Coach, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so now I hit share screen, and all right.
I have one more question from my texting from somebody. Coach, how do you always seem to get your players to do what they want without them really knowing that that's like they get to make the decision, but that's really what you want them to do? Let's say how they behave, how they carry themselves, things like this. How did you get your players to kind of conform to the team culture, to conform to the way you wanted them to be without them thinking it was your idea?
Well, we hold each other accountable. Now, I hope the statute of limitations ran out on this. But if one person does something academically inappropriate, the whole team is punished because we are a team. We all got to hold each other accountable. In other words, I'd be looking forward to somebody missing a class, especially in the fall, because I love getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and having a love session. You know, we just show how much we love and care about them. So we want them to get their degrees. So we should have a little love session at 5 a.m. And that normally works. And then if they persist, they don't play. I don't think I have a guy in the pros playing that didn't have to sit on the bench during the game because he didn't adhere to the rules that we had set forth. I've had very little problem because nobody wants to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for somebody else's mistake. So we pretty much police ourselves and hold each other accountable. And if they don't leave the apartments or the dorm, wherever they stand, until their roommate is on his way, so we don't have guys being late. And I don't get angry. I just don't play them. I mean, I'm not arguing. I'm not fussing. I'm not screaming and hollering. If these are the rules we have set, and if you cross that line, you the one disciplining yourself. You know, it's not me. You just raised your hand and said, "Please, coach, I need a punishment," because what we agreed to is before the season how we gonna conduct ourselves. And I drug test on a regular basis, and I drug test on a regular basis. And when the season starts, I check curfew every night. I mean, so it's because you can't give me in practice and give me in a game what I'm asking of you if you're hanging out all night. And you can't do your academics. And by the way, in the last 33 years, I've only had 4 kids not graduate. One at Florida State and who was with me for 4 years, and 3 at Miami. Only because we just hold everybody accountable. And it has not really been a problem because we communicate. You know, it's not like I'm fussing or demanding or being mean and ornery. These are the way we conduct ourselves. Everybody on board, and we move on, and we have very little problem. I hope that answers the question.
It did. Go ahead.
All right, now we're gonna talk. Now you're gonna see in this edit that we're not perfect, hardly with anything. The hand on the passing lane between the man and the ball. We don't want you to catch the ball at the elbow. And one team, if they throw the ball to the left elbow, they run 7 plays. They throw the ball to the right elbow, they run 5. So we will go and almost chest front the guy at the elbow. We don't want the ball to come to the elbow, and we don't want the ball to be caught anywhere close to the 3-point line when they deny the ball on the wing. We own the line up the line. So those are the things that we grade on a regular basis, and we hold our kids accountable. We just don't want a team to run what they practice all the time. And you're going to notice that we pick up 94 feet, not because we're trying to trap, not because we're trying to do anything other than mirror the ball. We want to not give you the opportunity to look at the coach, get whatever he's telling you, the head tap, the ear pull, the chest thump, whatever he's giving you an instruction to do. We want you to worry about the ball or worry about the pressure on the ball. And we want to bring the ball down the court just so the guy, if I pick up at the top of the key, he looks at the coach, he comes across court, and he can literally make a chest pass to either one of the wings or to the elbow with me picking him up at the top of the key. I just want to make it easier for us to be able to dial the ball. So I'm picking him up, and I'm guarding him. I'm trying to keep my head on the ball. And then it also gives me an opportunity, you'll see in the video, that sometimes a team who has a point guard who initiates all their offense, we like playing against those people because some people want their point guard to initiate the offense. We're going to trap on the inbounds. We're going to take a guy off the ball, and we're going to double team the point guard to make the shooters come down and get the ball, and we want them to initiate the offense. And then we want to play no catch on some occasions on the point guard, so we take him out of running the offense 40% of the time So it disrupts their rhythm. It disrupts their rhythm when you got the guy who's supposed to be catching and shooting, initiating the offense. It just kind of throws them off. That's why on the offensive end, whoever gets the ball, rebound is my point guard. And everybody else is running to eliminate that problem. The reason we run the kind of offense we run is because it's harder for the type of defense that we play to guard it. So you need to have both of them complementing each other. See, our pickup point is right here. Normally, our regular defense is having somebody on the ball. But because we've scouted and taken statistical analysis on how we need to handle it, what we're going to do, we're just going to make him work right now. We'll start trapping him later on. Okay. Normally, I have a guy on the ball, but in this particular case, we're not. Now, they come back, they want to set a screen, and number 23 has kind of forgot that he's supposed to be up here, so he made a mistake there. He needs to be right up here so he can make a nice switch. And we're not putting unbelievable pressure on him. We just don't want him to have a free look. Now, I like for the guy guarding the center to have his chest, have his body on the line between the ball and the man. I prefer the guy guarding the guy on the right on this wing here to have a hand on the line between the ball. You know, we're not perfect, but we almost where we're supposed to be. In this particular game, you're going to see their purpose. They wanted to force a switch, knowing that we switch 1 through 5. They're going to force the switch, thinking that we will give them an advantage on the post being on the guard, but that doesn't really make. Other words, it's not what they accustomed to running, but this is what they think they have to do to break our pressure. So he goes up and sets the screen. Now, this was all planned. They had the floor spaced. But what I want you to notice is that the guy who switched out on the post, watch where he goes. See, now, his inside foot should be up a little bit where he can see the post man. We normally would shrink the gap a little bit more, but this kid's a knockdown shooter. And these guys should have their inside foot up as opposed to their foot back. You know, so, but we're still almost where we're supposed to be. Normally, we would shrink this gap on the catch and what we call stunt and recover as opposed to help and recover. If we help, we stay a little longer, but on shooters, we stunt. But in this particular case, we're not leaving him open. But everybody's going to get to the level of the ball. Everybody gets to the level of the ball, and they still have to shoot over arm length. Okay, so now we're in better position. We're just going to make them work. We're not trying to steal the ball. We're not trying to take it. We just want to make them work. If you watch the coach on the sideline, he wants to tell everybody a play every time down the court. Okay, now what he's motioning them to come up and set the ball screen. They think this is going to work for them. But see, we work hard. Normally we would start and stay on this shooter. Matter of fact, in this game, this guy had 30 points. Really knockdown shooter. So we'll make adjustments to our defense, depends on the scout report. But my post guy does a real good job. Everybody else is rotating to the level of the ball. They still don't have nowhere to throw it. Now you see we doubling the guy who they want to throw the ball to, and we're making the shooter handle the ball. So we're not trying to steal it from him. We just shadow him all the way down the floor. So now instead of the point guard initiating the offense, I got the two shooters handling the ball. Now you notice that we're taking his right hand away. In this particular game, let me get this out. Whoops, what did I do? Okay, hold on. Okay. You notice that we're shading his right hand. I mean, he's so much better going right, so we're taking his right hand away, and you notice he's very reluctant to get in the gap. The dribble in the gap. Now, we normally like for him to be square and that right hand go up, but he sees the hand on the line somewhat. So he's trying to throw the ball away from this hand here. And I also want you to notice the fist fight going on at the elbow. We just don't want him to catch the ball at the elbow. We don't want it's a fight there. We gotta help. We gotta help over here. Inside foot should be up. We always mirror the ball. We don't ever get square and not. We want to challenge every pass on inbounds pass. Now you notice this his subtle, his right hand going up to challenge that pass. His peripheral vision said, I got to get the ball away from his hand. And he also sees a hand on the line between the man and the ball. And he's trying to throw the ball a little bit so this hand won't get it. So he's throwing it away from the defense. And it causes them this to be farther. We still are really not letting the ball go to the elbow. So now we doubling this guy because we think he's a little reckless with the ball. We taking their point guard away, making so now what they've done, they put 2 point guards in the game so that they can run the offense a little better. But we okay with him handling the ball because he's not very efficient. We just shadow him coming down the court. See, if he was back in here, and this guy who's guarding the guy on the wing was playing between him and the basket, he just walk down and throw the ball here, and they run what they intend to run. So what it's doing is just a little disruptive to them. So here again, they own the philosophy that we're gonna set a screen to disrupt their defensive fundamentals, but we okay. Okay, we good. We in good position here, hand on the line. He's back a little bit. He's 2 passes away, so he's not in deny, but he kind of in this gap in case somebody gets beat. We switching, and his job now is not let him catch that lob. So now he could be a little closer to him, but he's not a good shooter, so he can mirror the ball. But still, there's a fight. And he's mirroring the ball, so he can't just throw the ball in here like he want to, because his hand, if the ball goes up, his hands need to go up. His inside foot should be up. His outside foot's up. And if you notice now this is something that I picked up when I was at the University of Miami that I didn't do early in my career. You notice how we're fronting the post, but we are helped off of the post. When I early on in coaching, I had this guy's responsibility was to always rotate all the way over, then we seal the baseline. But one of my assistant coaches taught me into helping off the post, and it's worked real well for me. So he goes, and everybody else gets to the level of the ball, so he gets discouraged. And so now we're denying the ball back out here. We denying the ball there. We're still fighting front of the post. He wants to pop. A lot of people just let you catch it out here because they feel like you're not going to shoot out here, so let's let you catch it. We wanted to be disruptive as possible. We see now, that's a guard and a 6'10" guy, but we don't. That's why I like big guards, because we're fighting. And you would think that he could throw that ball to that lob, but you can't make a perfect pass when you're under heat. It's hard to do. And then these guys gonna swarm to the ball if he was to throw it. So he on the line, up the line. We fighting the post. Now we switch. We'll switch it up, give him a little something different. We just want him to shadow him so he can't throw that ball right to this area where they want to catch it. See, he's on the line, up the line. And at the elbow, we know whenever they put a guy in this position, we know they run the play. So we got this peeped out. They've talking on the court. And where we would normally switch, we don't switch this. Not because we don't switch, only because we know the play they're trying to run. So he's going under this, and he's fighting the screen. Then we'll go back to switching. He could be on the line a little bit more, but he can't just pick the ball up without him taking a step and throwing the ball easy to him. He's in pretty good position on the weak side. But now we switch. Now you see when he thought he was getting ready to throw the ball to the post, watch the guy guarding his hands. See, he's mirroring that ball, and his hand goes up, and so now he's throwing the ball a little farther than he normally would, only because his hand goes up, and he's not close enough to affect very much, but he still, his peripheral vision sees the challenge in the pass. That's very important to us. Now you notice now he's mirroring the ball. He closed out with his hands up. Now he's mirroring the ball. Now, defensively, you're going to get caught sometime on the top here. And this guy's doing a good job nailing because he thinks that because he has a guard on him, they think they can throw the ball into the post. But that hand being up, because he's raising the ball, looking like he wants to throw a lob. Now, he didn't get to the dead front, but his hand being up kind of bails him out. So he's throwing a high lob that gives us a chance to come from the weak side to get the ball. Now, it's obvious to me that this guy's tired because he's not up here with the ball. That's a signal. If he's not here, that means he needs a break. So we're not doing anything other than, I'm surprised we don't have somebody at the bench. Everybody's in pretty good position. So now they're back to wanting to switch again, but he turns it down. Now this is not really a switch because there's no screen. So I let them call it out. They be talking. Stay. There's a little mix up, but you notice his hand going up. He thought he might go and get ready to throw the ball, but his hand goes up to discourage. So now he sees the hand here. So he can't throw it to the right. He can't throw it to the left, and we front the post. Now, obviously he can't catch every raindrop, but watch him jump to the high side to take his right hand away. Everybody goes to block out. So now we're off to the run. Now, he's out of position. I prefer him to have hands on the line. He's out of position. I like for him to be up. He's in pretty good position. Weak side defense should be on the lane line. He's a little farther out than what I'd like for him to be. But you notice what he does on the catch. Watch where his hand goes. Now, he does not know whether somebody posted up or not. So on the catch, he has to take away the vision. If it was a post guy, he'd have to make a lob pass or he'd make a slow bounce pass. But we still don't want the ball to go to the elbow. Now he goes after the ball with the wrong hand. But these guys are more catch and shoot guys. They're not accustomed to being out here at the point hand on the ball. He goes with the wrong hand, but then we now you notice here once again we doubling up the guy we don't want to have on the ball to run the offense. And so they've given up trying, but they think they can just put another point guard in the game. Now you see the fight that's still going on at the elbow. You know, most people are going to get high. And for years, I would just get there, put my hand up on the top side. But I find that now guys do such a good job of sealing you. And we used to play against a 1-4. And where they be, Boston College used to do that. And they would just catch the ball right here and kept running the offense. So we going now, we just don't want you to catch it at the elbow as much as we can. Now, we don't mind him catching the ball away. We don't want him to catch it at all, but catching the ball this far away from the basket makes it hard to run your offense. But we still fighting that elbow. He's switching it. He's not letting the ball go to the left. He's not playing between the man and the basket. He's on the line. Like I said, nothing's perfect, but it's a dogfight right here in the post. Now, we always pressure the inbound pass, but here, what we're doing is trying to take the topside away and force him to throw the ball to the baseline. He catches it, so now we just taking away what they normally want to do. Here we are doubling teaming the ball handler again. So he's tired of being pressured, but he's doing a good job. He's bringing the ball down the court. Just taking time. We in good position. We denying the ball to the left. We on the line, not letting the ball go to the post, elbow. Let me tell you, we know what we call shrink this gap. Now, we don't chest in the gap. We plug it with our butt so we don't lose sight of the shooter. Years ago, you would open up with your chest and stop this drive. And a lot of times you just jump in this gap just to discourage him on the catch from even driving in there. And it's kind of like sometimes it's a one-step filling the gap. You faking like you're gonna fill the gap, but you don't want to leave a shooter. Can't believe nobody answering any question. We in pretty good position, but you notice whatever he's doing, our hands gonna go up when he try to throw the ball.
Coach, you got a question?
All right.
How do you help on drives to the basket?
We're consistent. Now, a lot of times we'll shade the guy's strong hand. Okay. And we try to be in the gap early recovery. Early start help means early recovery. And early help gives you early recovery. And so sometime on the catch, we just stunt in that gap. In other words, stepping to eliminate him catching and seeing, I got to drive. That's why we close out, strategically. Some guys are just not effective going to their left. So, and then guys who are equally as effective, which we very seldom ever find, and we'll have certain responsibilities, which is, different for each game. We might shade him to the right so that we can deny the drive a little better, and we're always in the gap to give the guard who's guarding the guy at the top more time to get control of it, and we discourage it. And we have to drill that where on the catch, we starting in that gap and we getting back to the shooters. And so we really, really work hard on what we call shrinking the gaps. And that normally, go ahead.
I got another question. How involved do you have your assistant coaches in game planning, practice planning, and setting the whole tone of your program?
Okay. Because I was so fortunate as an assistant coach. My first job at Austin P, I'm 23 years old, and the full-time assistant got sick and had to resign in Christmas, and I'm all the head coach got. So he's on one end of the court teaching his drills, and I'm on the other end teaching mine. And Joe Hall gave me the responsibility when I went to Kentucky. At 26 years old, I coached the defense. So I believe in giving my assistant coaches as much responsibility as they can handle. But because we have a set of defensive principles that we guide ourselves by, we all singing out of the same hymn book. We always going to take the post away. We always going to be on the line, up the line. So really, now specifically, we'll have some game time things that we'll make adjustments. Like right now, we're not helping off their shooters nearly as much, and we shading their drivers' hands a little bit. That's game Pacific, and we watch and we'll come to an agreement. Yes, they have a lot to do with us scheduling the game plan. My assistant coaches, every coach will have 5 or 6 games, and they'll be watching while we preparing for another game. One game, the assistants are really watching 3, 4, 5 fields of the game that we're preparing for the next game, and so they know all the tendencies. So immediately after the game, I'll meet with the coach who has the responsibility for the next game, and we'll start talking about it the night of the game that we're playing. As soon as that game's over, we'll have a meeting, we'll analyze it, go over it briefly, and then we'll start talking about the next game the same way. And that assistant coach will have a lot to do with the discussion.
Thanks, Coach.
But you see here, we on the line, we in pretty good shape. Now, once again, because they can't run none of their offense, I mean, they trying to score, but our hand going up, it makes it hard. They see a gap in there, but it's not really there. Now we doubling the point guard again, and normally I have a guy on the ball, but this is a game Pacific adjustment. Well, this is the guy we want to have on the ball, the shooter. Now, I'm telling you now, I get excited when I see this. Okay, they come up, they got a good plan. They're gonna make back cuts. Because we denied the ball. We deny the ball, he makes a back cut. But man, when I see somebody do this, whoo, man, I'll tell you right, hey, look now, hope ain't no women on here. I might say something, but I better be careful. But I get excited when I see this right here now. This is, in my opinion, this is big time. This boy here played 10 minutes a game as a freshman. He 11 pick in the draft as a sophomore because he totally bought into this. He go from 10 minutes a game to 11 pick in the draft as a sophomore because he bought into what we trying to do defensively. Now this is big time right here. Woo, my goodness. If I was a drinker, man, I'd take a swig. But we not letting him just catch the ball out here. Most schools won't do this. They just let you catch the ball and throw it, and they guard you after you catch it. We want to be a little more disruptive. Now, even he caught the ball on his back foot, but we're still fighting inside there not to let those guys. We front the post, and so there's nowhere for him to throw the ball. That's not his deal. Driving to the basket. I got a little tired, letting them catch it too easy. I don't know where. So they're setting the screen again. That's an easy switch. We on the line here. We fighting the post. We denying the ball to the wings. We still don't want the ball to go to the elbow. Now guard is guarding the post, and I used to be all on perfect techniques. This fronting, I don't mind his chest fronting, but just don't let him have a good look. Now, that's a fight there. He's 6'5" and he's 6'10", but you notice his hands are up. So if he gonna make a pass, it's gonna have to be a bounce pass, or he gonna have to throw the ball. He have to put some air on it, which gives us a chance to. And he see now the ball's above the line. He's a little uncomfortable getting on the lane line where I like for him to be right here. Like I said, it ain't gonna be perfect, but this is what I love mirroring the ball.
We got 2 questions.
Okay.
One is, I don't know if you have video of breakdown drills that you work on or how you do it, or maybe you can explain some of them. But the other one is this. I got the other two are, so when you're looking for an assistant coach, what do you look for, or how can somebody become, if they want to move up in the profession, what should they be doing to move up in the professional or into the college ranks? What's your advice on that?
I think they need to be taking notes every day in practice. Number one, they need to, whatever system they have, they need to know it like the Bible. They need to know it hand backwards and forward, whatever they're supposed to be teaching. And then he has to learn how to communicate with players. Try to find a way to inspire, motivate, uplift, and develop relationship with the players so that so that he can mentally help these kids become the best version of whoever they are, to get them to be the best version. Sometimes, you leave out of practice and you really need to know the drills and know why we're using certain drills. But communication is always the key. These are teenagers, and you have to take that job seriously. You taking them from teenagers to young adults. I mean, I know all y'all, when y'all were 18, 19 years old, y'all lived by the foot of the cross, and y'all was perfect, and y'all did everything right. But most of the kids I've coached don't do that. And you have to have a relationship for them to respond to what you're saying. Communication is the key. Knowing them, and being a person that listens to them. That's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. You do more listening than sometimes you do talking. And you'll find more about a kid so you can communicate and address whatever his needs are in relation to his personality and what he's about as an individual.
Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
No, I'm good. So I hope that helps you a little bit. But I think know your stuff. When you really know it, you walk like you know it, you talk like you know it, you look like you know it. And everybody in the gym know it. You got to say, what do they see when they see me coming? Do they see a knowledgeable coach that can help them be better? Or they see a guy who's scared to open his mouth and don't have anything to say about helping them improve? Now, as a skill developer, most young guys and coaches, y'all good about that. Getting in the gym and, helping with the free throw, the mechanics, but you got to coach their minds and their spirit. But you can't do that if you don't have a relationship. In order for me to be comfortable, I gotta feel like you got my back. I gotta feel like you care about me. I gotta feel that you're gonna try to help me be better. And that which I don't understand, you explaining it to me so I do understand. You calling me at night, man. How did you get everything in practice today? We'll come out of the office, let's watch films of the practice. I mean, what are you doing for this kid can have confidence in you? Because some kids, like for instance myself, I'm talking about me. I didn't like coaches screaming and hollering at me. Because I grew up with a dad who was very firm, and all I heard was him screaming and hollering and whipping my ass with the belt. I didn't respond to that very well. And so what I did is never let nobody outwork me so he wouldn't have no damn excuse. He wouldn't have a reason to be screaming and hollering at me. I'm going to win every drill. I'm not going to let anybody outwork me. Every time he come lead practice, he's saying, damn, that's the hardest working dude I've been around. And if I didn't get it right, it wasn't because of my effort was not good. Because I didn't want to be yelled at. So I wanted to go home at night and study my plays. I want to make sure I knew my stuff. So your job is to help this kid. Well, now this kid's calling you. He's seeking you out because of the relationship that you've established with him. All right, you had another question too?
Yep. The other one is this. You've had unbelievable success in getting coaches to the next level of being a head coach or even assistant coaching jobs. But how do you help? What advice do you give them to become a head coach or move on to the NBA or whatever it is? How do you help them? How are you helping them become what they want to be, if that's a head coach or just working in the NBA?
Well, number one, they're gonna have responsibilities in practice. In other words, my managers need to be taking notes. I need to know that they know everything we're doing and why. And if they stand on the corner with their finger up their butt, that's a problem with me. They got to be involved. They can't. I want the kids to like them, but they got to respect them. The kids, they got to learn how to communicate and earn their respect, and I tell them that. But you can't do that if you don't know the system. Even if you don't agree with the system, know it. So everybody's on the same page. So I have confidence picking up the phone calling somebody. I'm not calling one of my friends and recommend them if I think the guy I'm recommending ain't any good. That guy trying to win like me. So I'm not going to send anybody. So I try to go out of my way to make sure those guys know this stuff. I want them to understand what goes on in the weight room. I want them to understand what happens when team travel. I want them to know what goes on academically so they can be prepared if they have to help somebody academically. I want them to know the out-of-bounds plays, the press offenses, the zone offenses, the zone defense. I want everybody to know everything so I can feel comfortable. This guy can help you.
Thank you very much. Do you want to go back to drills, Coach? Do you have any drills?
Okay. Now, this is what you have to do. You analyze, and I don't know why one of my managers must have changed this, because deny the wing should be on this thing here. Anyway, so now I'm gonna end up adding 10. Deny. Okay. Anyway. Okay. One thing you can do to help you, because, and that's a great question, by the way, because you got to teach defense like you do a free throw. Repetition over and over and over. And the thing that's challenging about defense is that you can't create the same scenario every time. The angle's going to be different. The guy's going to be in different positions. So you got to teach repetition doing over and over. So what I like to do is what you call station drills. So on one drill, I might have a forward center help and recover drill. The other one, I might have a front to post drill. The other one, I might have a weak side exchange drill. And so let's say you have 12 minutes for this drill. And you got a minute to change from one goal to another. And on this particular drill, we got 1 minute for the defense to deny the weak side help or forward center help and recover or front to post. So this kid's gonna get the guys on defense with one manager out there and 4 players. He gonna get 7 reps on front to post or sealing the baseline or forward center help and recover, whatever drill that matches what you're trying to accomplish in terms of the fundamentals. And so you run those, like, let's say 3 times a week. So now when you get in practice, this guy has had 7 or 8 reps in a minute on forward center help and recover or sealing the baseline or weak side exchange or switching the ball screen, whatever the drill is. And so if you do that 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 times, a week, he getting reps, developing those fundamentals where those things become habit. So I highly recommend shell drills. Shell drills along with station drills. And that takes you 12 minutes. If you do that 2 or 3 times a week, it really, really helps. And don't ever leave practice without doing shell defensive drills. All right, hope that answers the question.
Perfectly. Just if there's any other drills, recommendations you'd make for drills on implementing your defense.
Oh, no question about that. All my stuff's in storage, Tom. So if you remind me, I'll go back and get my station drills and just give them an idea of how I structure them. Just so that they can come up with their own drills to fit their defense philosophy. But you can see from right now, I'm heavy on the line, up the line. You can see I'm heavy on closeout with our hands up. We fighting the pros. And so I got to create those scenarios so they can become habits. We're in great positions on this drill right here. And more than anything else, if he was playing defense with his hands down to the side, that'd be a perfect pass in there. Because the weak side help is kind of out of position. I'd like for it to be on the lane line a little bit, but right now, he worried about this guy being a pretty good shooter. And so that happens a lot. But he's bailed out because the guy thinks he's trying to throw a lob, so both his hands are up. So let's watch what happens. And we fighting this post at him. The techniques, we need to talk about deep techniques in front of the post, but this guy's a big, strong, physical guy, and he's fighting like hell. Now he throws it, but because his hands were up, look how much air he puts under that ball. The air he puts under the ball is too much. If his hands were down, he could have made a perfect pass. Now here again, we double teaming. Yeah, this is our man right here now. We love him. We love the shooter trying to bring the ball down the court. Now, he's not accustomed to feed the ball. He can't throw it to the left. He really can't, to the left, he can't throw it to the right. And we just got we making it hard for him to find the center. But he throws it. That's not what he does. Now, I'm gonna get away from this. And if anybody got any more questions about defense?
I think we're good there, Coach.
Okay. Now, how much time I got?
Maybe 5 to 7 minutes.
Well, fellas, I would like to talk about some offense, and you'll see. Well, if I got 5 minutes, I might well use them. Okay, hold on.
Coach, I have a question from a coach.
Okay.
Question is this. People say all the time how the players are different. Do you really think they're different, or is it just the climate they're in, or is it everybody's different, or what do you see in the climate of today's basketball?
Well, this is what I see. I see the portal and the NIL, the way the NIL is structured. Not necessarily the NIL, but the way it's structured. The portal is probably a little bit more of a challenge than what people want to admit. Let me tell you why. Okay, let's say in basketball, it'd be close to 3,000 players put their name in the portal. Now, I think 39.7 or somewhere close to 40% of them will not get a scholarship offer. Now, so that's about 1,300 kids per year. Time 5 years, you got 6,000 kids running around that did not get an offer. Their education has been compromised. 85% of them black. So you got 4,000 kids that thought the grass was greener on the other side. Now they might end up getting something, but the way it's structured, you get a McDonald All-American or All-State player that comes to your school because he thinks he's gonna step in and start. You get a mid-major player come in that's 21 years old, strong, experienced, might not be as talented as the high school kid, but more experienced and more effective. The high school kid pissed off because he ain't putting up the numbers, getting the minutes. So you trying to beat Duke and Carolina in January, he trying to figure out where he gonna be in April. Then he's upset, and the other freshman, so everybody bitching and complaining, because somebody told him he gonna get more money at the other school if he transferred and they got a starting spot for him. The mentality that we operate under now, and now for me to say to be against NIL would be stupid. Hell, I took my bath in a tin tub. My bathroom was on the back porch. So for the poor, we put the P in poor. But my point to you is some kids' parents can't even get their medicine unless they get their money from the NIL from the kid. So I can't be sitting here saying I don't understand. It just needs to be some structure. It's the process by which these decisions are made, and people like me ain't in the damn room making part of the decision-making process. So I got a professor in the dean of physics or science, and he's in the room asking somebody else, now what we voting on? When he ain't walked. So this thing is flawed. And so now you got kids coming in with different mentalities and different mindsets. I mean, I got kids transferring And some of them went to the wrong school. I got one or two kids, I think, got a chance to be a pro, but now I ain't seeing that now. They didn't, they probably went where, whatever the circumstances were. Right now, we in a bad situation. And mentally and emotionally, that's why you got to have a relationship with them, the mama, the cousin, the sister, the neighbor, the high school counselor. You got to know everybody in the whole scenario so you'll know what you're dealing with. Because the kids, they learn, they put in a tough spot.
Thanks for the answer. Coach, you probably got 5 minutes if you want to go through some offensive stuff.
All right. Doggone it. I hope I can handle it.
We'll have you come back and do another one. Hey, Coach. Hey, here's one quote. You ready for it? Because you're going to laugh. Mm-hmm. Coach Hamilton needs to do a video series with an outlining his entire system. Have you heard that before from anybody?
Well, you know what? I feel like I need to do that. Because I think that I made enough mistakes along the way, and that I think at least I can keep people from making some of the mistakes that I made, okay? And it'd be ridiculous for me to start trying to go over offense now, but I do feel that my offense, and I don't have a problem coming back, my offense complements my defense in with the energy that we play with. And I said whoever gets the rebound is my point guard. I just give you an answer on transition. See, he not looking to throw no outlet pass to nobody. And you see those guys on the right and the left, they running. See, these guys got to get to their checkpoints in 4 seconds. And if he's pushing it and nobody's in front of the goal, and see, most people get a guy back in the hole, but we shoot threes in transition. So they matched up with us, but ain't nobody protecting the basket, and the referee's not going to let you touch anybody. So I say you go to somebody to stop you. These guys ride left. We get a rebound. He not looking to outlet. He looking to make a decision. I'm pushing it. If I can kick ahead, I will. But if ain't nobody in front of the rim, I'm going till you stop me. Now, this is a kid. He wasn't a great ball handler. He's a 4-man, but he going to kick it ahead. How much time off the shot clock? 4 seconds? Big man gets the ball. We wide left. We wide right. So we got the floor spread. We run into those checkpoints, and these guys got to make a decision. Are you gonna flood the lane and stop it from driving? Or are you gonna stay outside in the corners? Which one? You got to make a decision, and you got to make it quick. That's why I'm not giving you very much time to say I got him, I got him, I got him. So you're gonna get 6 to 7, maybe even 10 baskets in transition because people they looking for places to rest, and we pushing it every time we get a rebound. See, now we running, they got to get back. If they don't, but see, they don't have anybody in front of the goal. And so he's reading and reacting. He slowed up. He should be in the deep corner. That guy should be in the deep corner, but nobody's in front of the rim. Now, I tell my center, if you don't get the rebound, I love this right here there. My big man is pumping those damn arms. He running down there. He posting up on the point guard who's back in the hole. Now it's a read from here on out. I'd like for this guy to be a little deeper in the corner. I got a trail guy for a 3. He got the guy locked up, but he reads and takes it to the basket. He's deep. I like for him to be a little deep in the corner, but this guy's a really good shooter. So the post man don't want to leave a good shooter, and so it's one-on-one here at the elbow, and that's a guard, and that's a bigger guy, and he get the one. I mean, now if you're pushing the ball and somebody's ahead of you, that's what we're looking for. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I get carried away, and Coach Sparks, you need to have your time. I apologize, fellas, for going a little over, but now I'm gonna get off here and I'm gonna try to stay around and listen to some wisdom from Coach, because I might be coaching a YMCA team here pretty soon. I might need to get some of them wisdom tidbits.
All right, coach, you said two things. One is you're going to do a video series. That's one. Two is that you'd come back and do your offense next time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. If these guys want me, I'll be on
Yep,
it.
most definitely. Most definitely. Let's
And
see if
no more questions on defense now.
no,
I got a minute.
you've done it all.
All
You've
right,
done
buddy.
it. Oh, hey, wait. Oh, they're just saying thank you for doing this. So, coach, if you want to unshare yours, and then John, if you want to do yours, I'll do the intro for Coach Sparks. First of all, Coach Sparks is on our DEI committee. That's really done a great job. And this series, culture and coaching basketball series, is really their idea. There, as in um, Coach Sparks and the rest of the group that's in there. Coach Watkins, I could name them all, but they've all. This is one of the first initiatives that they wanted to do out of that group. Um, Coach Sparks has been at Shawnee for 23 years as the head coach, over 300 wins, tons of academic success for his players, all American, academic All American. He's got some success in the professional ranks, Division One, Division Two, NAI signees. Just a great guy, a great coach. One thing that when we talk to coach, what we'd like to do is have a to your coach every single time on these series, but just giving advice to a young John Sparks. So, Coach, I'm going to turn it over to you. And first of all, thanks for doing this. Coach Hamilton, thank you again for doing it. But, Coach, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. First of all, thanks for having me on. I think I can listen to Coach Hamilton another hour. That was awesome. So hopefully I can match that level a little bit. But as we start here, Tom and I talked about this a month or so ago in our meeting, and I often think back when I first started in this coaching business. If I could go back in time and talk to young Coach Sparks and give him some information, so maybe as kind of Coach said, you don't make some of the same mistakes you made when you were young. You can advance a little sooner. So that's kind of how we got to this point. So we'll kind of get through this, and you'll see throughout this entire video I have advice for young Coach Sparks, I guess, but it can be used for whoever. See if we get this thing going here. All right. You can get there from here. I came up with this model when I first started here at Shawnee. Because when I took this program over, it was pretty much in the basement. And all my friends, several of us going into coaching or are already in coaching. A lot of them told me, man, you can't take that job. You can't win there. You can't get players to come there. Schools in the middle of the country. Close to McDonald's 20 minutes away. You don't have housing. Ain't nobody's, you can't do it. So I came up with this model. You can get there from here. And since in my 23 years here with that model, we've had doctors, we've had lawyers, we've had coaches, we have professional trainers, we have several guys play overseas, and a number of guys that play professionally. We had a kid from Conway, Arkansas, played at University of Florida from Mike White, who was the leading scorer in the Elite Eight game. He had one scholarship offer out of high school. It was Shawnee College. You can get there from here. If you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to put the time in, you can get there from here. So advice to young Coach Sparks is obviously celebrate your successes and enjoy the journey. I think oftentimes as a young coach, you're so consumed about getting to the next spot. I got to advance. I got to move on. I know when I first got the job at Shawnee, my first goal was I got 5 years and I got to be at the Division I level in 5 years. I got to be a head coach somewhere else in 5 years. Instead of just enjoying the journey and the success you have along the way. This is kind of the game plan, as my daughter told me the other night, my table of contents. We kind of 7 things we'll kind of touch on. Some of those Coach Hamilton kind of hit in his presentation. So you may hear some of the same things again. All right, my story is different than maybe several of you all, especially if you're 4-year coaches. It's an interesting story. I'm from a small town in Southern Illinois, Metropolis, Illinois. I actually attended Shawnee Community College. Before we got started, Coach Hamilton said, "Oh, Shawnee, that's in Kansas, right?" It's like, "No, not that one." And then oftentimes in recruiting, people think it's Shawnee, Oklahoma. No, we're in Southern Illinois, small town guy. I often say I'm just a country boy that had a love affair with basketball. And decided I wanted to coach this game. Tom, would you make sure, I'm just thinking of here, share my contact information maybe in the chat or whatever also.
Done.
Advice to young coaches. One of the things I would say, start a journal, read more. History of the game. I guess we all like to watch the videos, new coaching strategies. But man, be more of a student in the game. If I could go back in time and talk to the younger version of myself, start a journal. Those things are important. As a young coach, my day one was overwhelming. I've got this job. I wasn't the one they wanted. It was uncomfortable that first year. It was me, no assistant coach. I did just about everything. It's overwhelming. I worked in a silo, meaning that you just work. You don't celebrate any success. You just know we played this game, we won, we lost. Next game, you just rinse and repeat. So this can be overwhelming, and sometimes you seem like you're just trying to survive. You have to find a way. You need a mentor. You need someone you can lean on. You need someone you can call that will give you honest advice, not someone that's just gonna, I like to say, yes, man. You need someone that will help you through that. Pick your battles. You can't fight on every front. Okay. Be good at a few things. Build alliances. When I say build alliances, you need academic alliances, you need athletic alliances, you need community alliances. At the junior college level, when you don't have housing, you need the people in the community that'll work with you on trying to find some at least decent housing for your student athletes. Academically, you need people on your side. If Tom is missing class, you don't have to wait till progress reports come out. At our level, at this level where I'm at, I'm the coach, I'm the head coach, I'm the athletic director, I'm the strength trainer. I do individuals. I'm the grade check guy. We wear all those hats. So you cannot do it alone. So you have to build alliances with the instructors, with the tutors. If somebody's missing class, it's not 3 weeks before you need to know almost immediately so you can make the correction.
Coach, can I put your cell phone number in here or just your office?
Cell phone's fine.
Okay, done.
Trust your instincts. Go on your gut feeling. A lot of times, coaches, we second guess ourselves on things. It's important that you trust your instincts. Advice to young Coach Sparks: no one's going to care about this as much as you. So once you can wrap your mind around that, you can negotiate and move forward a little in a better way. As a young coach, I was always frustrated. Why don't they get it? Why don't they care about it as much as I do? Man, this is a great opportunity. But you got to realize guys 18, 19 that we're coaching, things that are important to them are not as important to you. There's a difference. They're worried about the girls. They're worried about the drip, what they got on, the hair, all that. They're worried about that. And not as much as where you're worried about winning, progressing, trying to win a region championship, trying to go to a national tournament, compete for a national championship. So you have to understand that you got to meet them where they're at. Relationships. Coach kind of hit on this earlier. You can't get guys to play really hard and you can't talk to them aggressively if they don't think you care about them as a person. You have to build those relationships. How do you build those relationships? It takes time. You got to pour into them. You build it through practice, through individuals, through team meetings. We have a golf scramble every year. We take 4 or 5 athletes from each sport. You spend a day with them. That's pouring into them. Community service events. That's pouring into them. Team meals at Thanksgiving or birthdays when family and friends are together. You're building those relationships. Those relationships are also key in the recruiting process. Thing I really learned the hard way. One of the things I learned the hard way. You can't go to an all-star game, see a kid's really good. He dunked the basketball, make a bunch of threes. He's my guy. Because you don't know that kid. You don't know his story. Then you get him here and you find out, hey man, this is not the guy that we need. I can't coach him. He doesn't like to be coached. He's not about the work. So if you see kids early, develop those relationships with them, you can find out who they are, what they're about, what's important to them. It takes time. Trust is, it's not a microwave deal. It's a process. This got pictures throughout here. This is Big Daryl Bowman, a great example of a guy I pour into. Bam was Bowling Green, Kentucky, and got cut his sophomore year in high school. His junior year, he played JV. He was 350 pounds. People thought he was a fat kid. They laughed at him. We got him here to Shawnee College. His physical, he was 305, Tom. We got that joker down to 275. It was a process. Said, man, you got to run a mile uphill every day before practice. Man, coach is tripping. Yeah, I'm tripping. 3 weeks in, his pants start sagging a little bit. His shirt's a little loose. Now I don't have to beg him to come in here to get on the treadmill. He's doing it on his own. Another month goes by. He's walking around campus with his shirt tucked in all of a sudden. He's a high academic kid. He just needed to be poured into. A year after his freshman year, he leaves us and goes to play at the University of Miami, Ohio. Division I basketball. Started off and on as a sophomore. I think he started his junior and senior year there. While he was healthy. I know he had some injuries. But you just think about that. A kid that nobody wanted, what happened? Build those relationships. Pour into them. Encourage them. Strong relationships allow you to push them. Be who you are. This was a major challenge for me as a young coach. My first coaching job was Corey League basketball. I had 5th graders. You like this, Coach Hamilton. I had 5th graders. My idol was John Thompson. 6'10". When I wasn't watching Kentucky basketball, I was watching Kentucky basketball with Sam Bowie, Melvin Turpin, and they were playing Georgetown. I'm laying on my grandmother's living room floor. And I'm like, who are these dudes out here with all this squeaking on the floor? And these dudes are playing aggressive. And this big dude on the sideline is so controlling. That's who I want to be. I want to be John Thompson. My first coaching job, coaching fifth graders, Saturday morning. It's 9 a.m. I show up, suit on, and towel over shoulder. These kids don't care about me wearing no suit. They want to play this game. They want to get soda pop after the game. They don't care. I want to be John Thompson. The point of the story is this. I'm not John Thompson. I don't have the same background that Coach Thompson had. I don't have the same experience. Because kids will know the real you. You have to be who you are. That's most important. You have to get comfortable being who you are. I'm a small town dude, country boy from Southern Illinois. I know work hard. I know compete. I know fight. I know you ain't gonna outwork me. Focus on who you are. Be authentic. Have integrity. Stay humble. Don't get too high where you think you got it all figured out. Because as soon as you think you have it all figured out, you don't. Any questions, Tom? All right.
Nope.
Moving
I think
on.
you're good.
Listen more, talk less. As a young coach, you don't know everything. You can't fix everything. You can't run everything. And you definitely can't make everybody happy. These 4 things can cause you to have major anxiety and frustration. You have to focus on a few things to be great at those few things. Be aware of social media. Social media is a great tool. It's a great tool for recruiting. It's great tool for promoting your program. But you can't get consumed with it where you're reading it because you will be attacked on social media. Good, bad, or if you can't read it goes both ways. You can't read it and think you're the greatest, but you can't read it and take the negative comments and let it consume you. I have an assistant coach. He kind of manages our social media, what's out there. We watch what our guys put out there. Obviously, it's important. We watch, he watches what people say. Hey, they're saying this or they're saying that. I generally don't respond to negative social media things. We got people that kind of handle that. You got to handle that in a way that you can kind of stay on top of it, but don't let it consume you. Don't let it wait. Don't let it be a burden on you. Embrace the grind. Winning is hard. Handling adversity and managing anxiety. Again, this is another photo. Hang on. Let me go back here, Tom. This is a photo. This is a great photo here. Talking about pouring into and developing relationships. This is at Stanley Malcolm's wedding. It was a kid that played for me from Bogan High School, Chicago, Illinois. Played for the late great Coach Goody. And it's me, my mother, Stanley Malcolm there, Kendall Ivey, Tony Jeffries, and DeJuan Stewart. Those are all former players. We're going to the wedding, and I just know I'm going to Stanley's wedding. I get there, and I was like, man, I got all my sons here, guys that I coached, didn't know they're going to be there. It was a great experience. So we talk about enjoying the journey. These are the things that they will remember more so than the wins and losses, the experiences and these relationships. Winning is hard, handling adversity and managing anxiety. Advice to myself would be to hold them accountable, but show them that you care. Coach Hamilton kind of touched on that as well. Winning is hard. Anybody that says it's easy, it's not. It's always hard. Everybody's trying to win. You can't get consumed by how you live. You're up and down by wins and losses. Easier said than done. Adversity, you have to get a routine. Whether it's a workout routine, it's a quiet time routine, you have to figure out something to manage your anxiety and adversity. Adversity is coming. It's not like, well, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Whether it's on the court, it's off the court, it's a player issue. This year we had 2 kids that expect to play a bunch. We have broken foot, fractured ankle in the first week. It happens. You have to be ready. You have to manage that. Anxiety. You have to know who you are and how you operate internally. I figured that out late into my career. I hate to lose more than I enjoy winning. I had to figure that out. Then I had to figure out how do I manage that anxiety. Sometimes you have to step away. You have to breathe. You have to go through whatever your individual routine is. I would tell Coach Sparks, you have to sometimes just step back, talk less, listen more. Guard your culture. This is huge. This is a picture. We're at the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. We started doing more of these activities, these events. We played in Memphis against Itawamba and Christian Brothers. Shout out to Coach Riley to help make that happen. Your culture is huge. It's, we said this, me and my assistant coach came up with this. Talent sets the table, culture sets the ceiling. I've been fortunate to have some really good dudes play here. But early in my career, I had one incident. I won't share his name, but we took a kid because it was a classic. Hey, this guy can get you another job. He has a little baggage, but he can help get you another job. He was 6'10", and he was uber talented. He almost did give me another job at Walmart. Okay. Almost got me out of the coaching profession because he did everything here but go to class, but be a great student athlete. You have to be careful. You have to guard your culture. You have to have integrity. You have to be aware who's around your program. Coach Hamilton kind of mentioned it earlier about we got the NIL. You have coaches, you have people hanging around that are contacting your kids throughout the season. You have to be aware. You got to guard your culture. You got to have the right people in your program and around your program. Guarding your culture. Recruiting from winning programs. I think that's at the junior college level. For me, it's been very key. Players that come from winning programs, they understand the process of winning. They understand the process of team. Not everybody really gets that full deal or what that takes. Everybody wants to win, but everybody's not willing to put in what it takes to win. What do you value in regards to team culture, guarding your culture? Here for me, my thing to value, I value toughness over talent. Talent is great, but you can get we've always felt if you can get a guy that's tough, that's coachable, that'll fight, that will compete, I'll take that guy over a talented guy that's uncoachable and unmotivated. The Saints family, we're really big on family here. It's kind of our deal. Another picture here at the Civil Rights Museum. I always wanted to be, and I wish probably started out with this verse: the 5 years I'm gonna be at another school. Be the example so they can grow to be responsible husbands, fathers, and citizens. That's kind of the deal with me right now. I mean, I'm 100% into that. That's what we want. We want to develop young men. A lot of the student athletes that I've had, all these young men I've had, are first generation student athletes. It's mom, it's grandma, it's auntie a lot of times. And they don't know anything about going to college. They're the first ones. They're the first. So we're in a position where we can change lives. We're getting these young men at 18, 19 years old. We can make a direct impact on their success because they're at the age where they're going to have to choose. They're at the fork in the road. They're going to have to choose which way they want to go with this deal. So we don't take that responsibility lightly. Again, some more of our guys, former guys. Again, we are teaching life skills. We're teaching skills that are transferable to life. Hard work, being on time, being accountable, being a man of your word is your bond. Those type of things, they're transferable to life. When all our guys gonna play pro basketball, but they're gonna have to be, they're gonna have to work, they're gonna have to family, they're gonna have to be a provider. So those things that we teach here, are gonna go to that extent. We have Teddy Washington here on the left, who from Block, Arkansas. Again, the guy we poured into, played in Florida, at JUCO in Florida. I didn't think it was very good. He came here, was really good. Justin Leon in the middle, who we mentioned earlier, played at University of Florida. Had one scholarship offered at high school. 2 years here. Had a great career. Then Jay Harvey played at FIU. Who only played 1 year of high school basketball. Was an all-state football guy. Came here and I think he's still playing professionally. So these are examples of guys we poured into that balled in. Advice to young Coach Sparks: don't compromise your integrity just to win a game. Finding a mentor. This is huge. My mentor still is Tony Weisinger, head coach at Illinois Central College. Quick story on TY. I'm at Spoon River. I'm young, my second year maybe, first or second year. And I'm out of control. I'm excited. I'm young. I fight every possession. And man, they came over the next day and was like, man, Spark, Tony, you need to talk to this young cat. He needs guidance. He needs help. And to this day, man, I still lean on Coach Weisinger. Now I found myself in a position where I'm that mentor to young coaches. I see a coach in need, call them, spend some time with them on the phone, give them advice, offer them encouragement. Because as a veteran coach now, I remember when I was in that same position. That is important. One thing I have on my daily practice plan, as well as my offensive defense no card during the game, is challenge, encourage, and teach. Challenge them to do better, encourage them that they can do it, and teach them when they fall short. Some more deals of us at sharing a meal, spending time at the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. Keep in mind, as I would tell myself, it's bigger than X and O's. This game is bigger. You're changing lives. You're developing people. The most important thing to you is not the most important thing to them, as we kind of talked about. As we class our close here, I'll share some of these picks and just kind of talk about just a few things and wrap it up. As a young coach, it's important. I would tell myself it's important to define roles on your team. Uh, so you can get everybody in the right place. Some guys think they're great shooters. All right. And that's okay for them to think that. It's okay for them to work on it. But if you're 18% from three, you're not a great shooter. But you got to find what role to put them in. Maybe they're a ball mover. Maybe they're a defender. Find a role to put them in. But it's important that you put guys all in a role so the team works together. Also, your staff needs to be in roles. They need to know their responsibilities. On the bench, in practice, in the whole scheme of your organization. One of my assistant coaches, he handles the stats. He manages the website stuff and some of the fundraising. That is huge. That's one less thing that's on your plate as a head coach. And as I said, when I started here 23 years ago, I was juggling everything. I think the first year we went deep in the tournament to the championship game, the vice president came up and sat on the bench because that was my year one or year two rather. We had nobody. We ran out of money in Springfield. He had to bring me some money because we weren't supposed to win, and we kept winning. And he ended up sitting on the bench. So it's important that you have your staff and roles, and they know their responsibilities, what is required of them. Study more about the history of the game. We kind of talked about. Need some more of
Coach, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Other than, playing time, what other things can you do for accountability, holding your players accountable?
Well, one of the things we do that's been very helpful. Coach Hamilton talks about the 5 a.m., which is we do the same. It's basically the same thing. One accountability that we're big on is turnovers. I don't want to turn that thing over, Tom. So our goal is 10 or less. So every turnover over 10, it's running. It's killers the next day. So I think beginning of the year we had one game we had 21 turnovers. I think it was scrimmage. So that's 11 killers. Next time was 14. And since the season started, I think of course we didn't play great on Monday, but I think we had 7 or 8 for the entire game. We play fast. I mean, we run and press and do, but you hear guys on the bench, hey, we're at 7. Hey, man, take care of the basketball. So they hold each other accountable. If you're not going to class, we got those 6 a.m.s. Matter of fact, we had that. But we did it for a week. And all of a sudden, guys figured out how to get to class. Guys figured out I'm going to make sure my roommate's up when I leave. I'm going to make sure I have a ride in the morning the night before, not try to call around at 7:30 and I got to be at class at 8:30. So just hold them accountable, man. I think guys say they don't like it, but if you don't have discipline, they're really going to complain if you don't have discipline. That was it, Tom.
Thank you. Hey, I just want to say thanks to Leonard Hamilton and John Sparks for just taking the time and putting this stuff together. We're going to have at least 4 more of these. Kelvin Sampson's next. We're waiting on a date from him. Paul Hewitt used to be at Georgia Tech. James Madison. He's in the NBA and the G League right now with the Clippers. Craig Robinson is the head coach of the head of the NABC, but he was at Princeton and Oregon State. And then we're going to have Coach Hamilton back in January. And just want to thank the NABC for helping us, Championship Productions, the NJCA Men's Basketball Coach Association, and Dr. Dish. The Coach Association committee is Tim Sanquist is the president, Cord Wright, John Bowler, Pete Norman. We're really fortunate to have some great people, and there's going to be some new people joining us on the committee here soon. John, thanks for doing this. I don't know if Coach Hamilton's still on or not, but he's signed in. But we couldn't ask for a better 2 first people to be involved in this. So feedback, you got my cell phone number, 515-460-8080. But we look forward to it. We'll get out the information about Kelvin Sampson, Paul Hewitt, Craig Robinson, and then having Coach Hamilton back. If there's coaches you think you'd like to hear from, let me know. not one coach that we've reached out to has said no. And I think they know how important this is, this series, this culture and coaching series will be. We're going to have some people that are going to talk about mental health on from the NCAA. So we'll keep you informed. We appreciate all your time. John, thanks again for doing this. And Coach Hamilton, have a wonderful day. If there's anything we can ever do for you, let us know. Again, cell phone number 515-460-8080. Coach Hamilton, thanks for being on with us. Anything? I got one last question for you. And that both Coach Hamilton, most important advice you could give a young coach, what would it be?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, you sound great.
Okay, I did something here to my.
I think you went mute. John, while he's looking, what would you, number one most important advice you'd give?
Cherish every day. Tomorrow's not promised. Cherish every day. Wherever you're at, as my coach told me when I was first got the job, make this your UCLA. So cherish.
Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound great. Go.
I just think that we need to realize the importance of the job that we have. And yes, we want to make sure we understand the X's and O's. But you're taking teenagers and you're ushering them into young adulthoods and young adults. And in reality, you're not going to find out what kind of job that you've done to 5-6 years after they've left you. What kind of husbands, what kind of fathers, what kind of neighbors, what kind of citizens they are. And what did they learn while under your supervision? I mean, did you give them the tools that it takes to be successful in life? And most times, your players going to emulate you. You're that authoritative figure in their lives that they have to be close to. See, in order for you to get the most out of a player, you have to get him out of his comfort zone. Nobody wants to be hot. Nobody wants to be cold. Nobody wants to be hungry. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. So you have to develop a relationship that allows you to get this kid to enjoy being uncomfortable to reach his full potential. You can't do that without a relationship. You can't do that without him feeling comfortable that you're there to help him improve and be a better person. I mean, in other words, I got you getting up every morning and I'm taking you out and it's so damn cold that you're uncomfortable. In other words, I got to get you fatigued when your tongue's hanging out and you can't hardly breathe, and I'm asking you for more. But you can't do that unless you trust me. So developing those relationships and understanding that this job that you have is more than just how many times you go to NCAA, how many games you win, how many trophies you got. It's all inclusive. And you have to take that job seriously. And sometimes we have a tendency to get upset with the AAU coach, the high school coach, the parents, the girlfriend. But these are kids who are dependent on you. When somebody trusts you with their most precious gift, their child, that means you got to assume that responsibility and be serious about it. I don't hear you.
Powerful stuff. I was just saying what a great first series this is going to be. First presentations. Couldn't have asked for two better people. Leonard Hamilton, John Sparks, thanks for being on. If you ever need anything from the committee, the NJCA Men's Basketball Coach Association, email, call us, text me, and we'll get it done. Coach Hamilton, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right,
John, same with you.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Big time job, John. I wish I could have listened to you. I wish the early Leonard Hamilton had you as a mentor.
Stop it. Stop it.
Coach Hamilton, somebody's going to be calling you about doing some videos pretty soon.
Talk to you later, buddy.
See ya. Have a great day, everybody.